What's up, guys? Welcome to Cage Side Connor. I am Connor. It's gonna be my post show for UFC 323. UFC 323 is in the books. It is over. The UFC's final pay per view of the year, final pay per view of the ESPN era, final pay per view possibly ever. That's what they're saying, at least. Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili 2 went down. Petr Yan, of course, won. We had a cool co-main event. Not really. But the card was awesome overall. I had a really good time watching this card. The prelims were fucking stacked and they were very violent. Main card was awesome as well. Couple little minor complaints here and there about a few things. Of course, the co-main event that goes super well. So, I mean, this was in the running to be the best card of the year. It really was. Leading up into the last three fights, I'd say. And then if Tatira Taya Brennan Moreno didn't end prematurely, which it wasn't really that prematurely in my opinion. We'll get into it, but if that didn't end prematurely, and then of course if we actually got a fight in the co-main event, it probably would have taken the event of the year slot in my opinion. That's how good the main event was. Anyways, guys, before we get into the whole thing here, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, share it with your friends, your grandma, whoever the fuck is interested in MMA in your life. Let them know about this. Very much appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's get in the full video here then, guys. Of course, in your main event, one Petr Yan defeated Merab Dvalishvili via unanimous decision. God, you gotta feel good for Petr Yan here. As a big Petr Yan fan, I was so fucking happy watching this fight, and something I didn't think was really possible heading into this, which was Petr Yan winning this fight and winning this fight by decision. I was not giving Petr Yan much of a chance. Neither was really anyone giving Petr Yan much of a chance. Just go look at the odds before the fight, and you just got to feel so good for Petr Yan, who was once the former bantamweight champion of the UFC. Lost it very unceremoniously due to that illegal knee on Aljamain Sterling. They of course had a rematch a couple years later, or not even a couple years later, about a year later. And in between all that, Petr Yan defeated Corey Sandhagen for the interim belt, comes back, fights Aljamain Sterling for the then undisputed belt, and ends up losing that fight. And it didn't look great throughout that whole fight. And I just think we never really thought we'd see Petr Yan get back here, especially after the Sean O'Malley loss, and then he loses to Merab Dvalishvili back in 2023, and all of a sudden he was on a 3-fight skid when just a little bit before that he was on top of the world and looking unstoppable. And then of course after this first Merab fight, it was just like, and then especially when Merab became champion, it just became kind of like a, well, Petr Yan's never going to be champ again as long as Merab is the one holding the belt, because it just kind of looked damn near impossible after you watch that first fight that Petr Yan would actually figure out a way to defeat Merab Dvalishvili. But he did just that with and God, what a good fight it ended up being, man. It really was a great fight. I thought each round was very competitive. I gave Petr Yan 4 rounds. I gave him 2 through 5. I actually gave Merab the first round. I know that's kind of controversial, but that's kind of just ended up that's how I ended up scoring it. But Petr Yan really put a fantastic game plan together for this fight. Really, notice how whenever Petr Yan was the one putting that forward pressure on, he was winning the fight. He was the one landing more significant shots, and Merab kind of didn't really have an answer to that when his back was up against the cage. Petr Yan getting some takedowns of his own throughout the whole fight. He was really just the guy that was landing the more significant punches, the punches that looked better to the judges, especially. And I mean, especially if you look at their faces after the fight, like Merab's face is fucked up, and Petr Yan didn't really look like he had a scratch on him. Of course, he was just in a war before that, but so yeah, it was an extremely impressive performance by Petr Yan. Not much else to really say on it, man. It's he did the damn thing, and it looks so impressive just doing it. Where did we want to go next for Petr Yan? A lot of different options here. Obviously, I think the thing we all kind of want the most is the rematch with Merab, is the trilogy. They're 1-1 now. I think that makes the most sense. But I don't think that's what we're going to be getting next. I think Merab needs an extended time off here. I seen him online today saying he wants to come back in like April already. Like, dude, not a fucking chance. You need at least 6 months off if you're Merab. You cannot do 4 fights in a year and then come back another 4 months later. His chin is going to lose it. And I get it from Merab's perspective. Like, 34 times ticking. you only got so many years left in your prime, and you only got so many years left at the top of this game where you're making the most amount of money possible. So I get why he wants to stay active. It kind of reminds me of Volk, right? When Volk was champ at featherweight, or still is champ at featherweight, but when Volk was very active, that is something he said over and over again, that he wants to stay active because he knew that time's a ticking, that he only had so much time left in this game. But for Petr Yan next, I don't think he'll be fighting Merab next. I do think Merab deserves the title shot next, and we'll get into that. But for Petr Yan next, I do think we're going to get one in between the Merab trilogy. And I think that really comes down to one of these four guys. Sean O'Malley versus Sonny Dawn is happening on January 24th, as well as Deiveson Figueiredo versus Umar Nurmagomedov. And when I say these four guys, I really think it comes down to Sean or Umar. Because obviously, I think, not obviously, but I do think both those guys are going to win these fights. I think Umar is going to beat Deiveson. I think Sean is going to beat Sonny Dawn. And then I think it's a classic who looks more impressive on this night, who's able to put on the most impressive performance on January 24th between these guys. And that person will get the title shot. If Sean's able to knock out Sonny Dawn, we'll probably get it. If Umar Nurmagomedov is able to finish Deiveson Figueiredo, anyway, punches or submission, I believe he will get it. Unless Sean gets a knockout. See, Sean's in the lead, right? Like, Sean's most popular. UFC clearly likes him the most, and although they do like Umar a lot too, so I don't really know. It's gonna be kind of a toss-up. It's gonna be a difficult choice for them if both Umar and Sean look good on at UFC 324. So we'll see. We'll see what they end up going with here. I'm gonna guess Sean somehow beats Sonny Dawn. I don't even know if he'd finish. Sonny Dawn has a good chin, so like I don't even know if Sean would knock out Sonny Dawn. But I'm gonna guess Sean beats Sonny Dawn, and then they give it to Sean. And then we're looking at Petr Yan versus Sean O'Malley 2, possibly at that White House card. I could see them throwing that on that White House card. That wouldn't surprise me. And then Umar will have to fight someone else in the meantime. So we'll see what they do here exactly. I don't have a good answer for you. My guess is the next fight we'll see Petr Yan in is versus Sean O'Malley for the rematch, which their first fight was awesome. So whether you like Sean or not, I think that's a deserving rematch if he does beat Sonny Dawn, and it should be an awesome fight. For Merab next, I do think Merab's next fight should be for a title. I mean, he's definitely deserved that. Defended the belt 3 times. Unfortunately, no one has ever defended that UFC Bantamweight Championship more than 3 times now, and I think we all kind of thought Merab would be that guy. But I do kind of want to see Merab versus Petr Yan 3 the most. So that's kind of what I'm just going to suggest for him. Even if Petr Yan somehow loses in between, when between the time Merab's ready and if Petr Yan does get a fight between now and then, I would just like to see this fight again. I mean, it was such an awesome fight, the second one. And they're 1-1 now that it feels like unfinished business. So I would love to see it, whether Petr Yan's the champion or not. But yeah, I think Merab deserves a title shot no matter what. So whenever Merab's ready, if I'm him, if I'm his team, I'm telling him, bro, just take off until like next fall. Honestly, like don't come back. Like September, October time period is when Merab should be fighting again. He needs a long time off here after all that. In your co-main event, Joshua Mann defeated Alejandro Pantoja via TKO due to injury in round 1. I believe it's 26 seconds in the round 1. So fight starts. Alejandro Pantoja coming out like a fucking crazy man. I mean, this fight was shaping up, from what little we saw of it, to be a pretty wild fight. Alejandro Pantoja ends up throwing a kick. Joshua Mann catches the kick. Pantoja goes down, and cover your eyes if you are squeamish here, but it ends up breaking his elbow, dislocating his elbow. We're still not entirely sure here. Something with the elbow clearly went on, and we haven't gotten a clear answer as of yet, but does not look good. Pantoja ends up going down. Van thankfully doesn't throw any more punches. Herb Dean steps in, stops the fight, and Joshua Van is your new flyweight champion. And that was a disgusting image with his elbow there. For Joshua Van next, I think it's pretty simple. I think Pantoja is going to be out for quite a while here. Maybe not quite a while. He could probably come back in like summer, especially if it is just like a dislocation. But Joshua Van does like to remain active, so I'm going to recommend Joshua Van versus Tatsuro Taira. for sometime this spring, hopefully, and they get this one done pretty quick. I mean, Tyra walked out pretty unscathed from his fight. Van clearly walked out pretty unscathed from his fight. So I see no reason why we couldn't set this fight up pretty quickly and have them both turn around here pretty quickly. Two very young guys, the first time two champs are a champion and a title challenger will be born in the 2000s as well, which I think is pretty cool. And yeah, I think you set this fight up. I think it's an awesome fight. Does feel a little like we're not actually going to be getting the best flyweight in the world with Pantoja out. We're not going to be getting the best flyweight in the world fighting in the title fight for the UFC flyweight championship in the next championship fight, but is what it is, I guess. I mean, say what you want about the win for Joshua Van, but I think he handled it fine. You can't expect the kid not to celebrate, not to be happy. It's like, dude, he just became the second youngest UFC champion ever. You got to be pretty fucking happy about that if you're Josh Van. So I don't really blame him for celebrating all that much. Dub's a dub in my mind, so might as well act like it. And yeah, I think we set this fight up in the meantime, and then as soon as Pantoja's ready, we just give him a title shot. Probably for late summer. I don't know, July, August time. As soon as Pantoja's ready to go here, hopefully it's a quick fix. Hopefully no surgery or anything like that. And we'll see. Pantoja 35 now, so this can't be good for his career. Taking a long time off due to injuries is definitely not going to help him, especially down at that flyweight weight class where speed is the first thing to go. They say so, and you're certainly going to need your speed down at flyweight. We already talked about this one a little bit here. Tatsiri Taira defeated Brandon Moreno via TKO round 2. First round was pretty much all in this triangle position. Brandon Moreno had a triangle kind of locked up on Tatsiri Taira. Not really locked up, obviously, because the fight didn't finish there. But he did have him secured in a triangle position for the majority of round 1, and we pretty much stayed there for all of round 1. Round 2 comes out. There's a bit of a scramble. Tatsiri Taira gets a body lock and ends up raining down blows on Brandon Moreno. Ref stops the fight a bit prematurely. I would have liked to seen it going on a bit longer, but I don't really think you can complain too much about it. I mean, Brandon Moreno was kind of covering up in the fetal position and just kind of letting punches rain down on him. You just can't stay there. It's just a terrible look, and the ref was gonna stop it. Give it another 2-3 seconds, and I think it probably would have been a little bit more appropriate. But Brandon Moreno did need to do something to move out. I know it's difficult, but you can't stay there for any amount of time in that type of position. So Tatsiri Taira is your winner by TKO round 2. And like I was saying, Tatsiri Taira versus Joshua Van makes all the sense in the world to me. I know Horiguchi has an argument for a title shot as well, but I think that made more sense if Alejandro Pantoja was still the champion. Pantoja versus Horiguchi was kind of being hyped up already, so I think you give Horiguchi someone else in the meantime. And yeah, unfortunately, he's probably going to have to fight 2 more times now with Tatsiri Taira probably getting the next title shot versus Joshua Van, and then Pantoja being next in line after that. So unfortunately for Horiguchi, that is he's probably one of the bigger losers of the night. Unfortunate for him. In your next fight, Peyton Talbot defeated Henry Cejudo via unanimous decision. This was my fight of the night, honestly. I guess it's actually really close between Petr, Merab, and Peyton Talbot and Henry Cejudo, but this was an awesome fight. I had such a great time watching this fight. Peyton Talbot able to put it on Henry Cejudo with some devastating strikes. Heavy puncher this guy is at bantamweight. Henry Cejudo gave it everything he got. Really did bite down on his mouthpiece and come to fight for his last fight, for his retirement fight. Peyton Talbot even got a couple takedowns in this fight, which was awesome to see. Hilarious when he was kind of stuck his tongue out after getting that one inside trip on Henry Cejudo. And just an awesome fight. It was really cool to see Henry Cejudo go out on a shield like this. He could have just covered up and just accepted a TKO loss in the first round if he wanted to, or whenever he got dropped, first or second round, and that could have been it. But Henry Cejudo really came to fight, really came to have a war with Peyton Talbot here, and it was an awesome, very memorable last fight for Henry Cejudo, who's had an awesome career. I really did enjoy the retirement package that the UFC put together for him. I love it when they do those type of things, especially for guys like Henry Cejudo. For Peyton Talbot next, I am seriously going to suggest Ronnie Barcelos too. I think this is a fight that should set up. I want to see how much better Peyton Talbot has actually gotten since he just lost back in earlier this year. He lost in January to Ronnie Barcelos. I just want to know, like, how is Ronnie Barcelos like really that good? Because Peyton Talbot's in the top 10 now. He's in the top 10 in the ranking. I think if you're Ronnie Barcelos, it makes a lot of sense too. It's like, oh, okay, this kid's now ranked ahead of me somehow. And let me get my rematch with him. Let me get cracked into the top 10. See if Ronnie Barcelos could do it again. Or Peyton Talbot has improved so much that he's able to defeat him. Set this up for like a fight night main event. You could do that fairly easily with these two. Peyton Talbot's pretty popular now. Ronnie Barcelos, not popular, but deserves a main event slot, in my opinion. So set this up for I think they need a main event for that fight night in Houston. Do that. Peyton Talbot, Ronnie Barcelos too, main event there. That sounds awesome to me. I just really want to see how much Peyton Talbot has actually improved, and this would be the best way to prove it to people that are still skeptical of his skill set. Because I still just don't know. Like, is this kid gonna be top 5? Are we gonna be talking about this kid in title contention? Are we gonna be talking about him becoming a future champ? I just don't know yet, and I kind of need to see the rematch with Ronnie Barcelos to see where we go from here with Payne Talbot. In your last fight on the main card, Jan Blachowicz Jan Blachowicz versus Bogdan Guskov ended in a majority decision. Another awesome fight on this card. Both guys throwing big hands. Bogdan Guskov dropped him in the second round, and one of the judges ended up giving Bogdan a 10-8 in the second round, which led to the majority draw. Or it might have been two of the judges actually. For these two next, I guess you run it back. I don't really know what you do with Jan Blachowicz next. He's 43 now. It's just it's like, man, I don't know. You don't really want to give him the young up and comer guys because they're gonna be knocking off. He's gonna be knocking off your future title challengers, right? And for Bogdan, it's like I don't know if you can really give him someone much higher in the rankings than Jan Blachowicz when he just drawed with Jan Blachowicz. So might as well run it back if Jan Blachowicz wants to keep fighting here. He is very old now for the sport. So not entirely sure what to do with these two, but I say run it back. Why not? It was a fun fight, and I'd be down to watch it again. Here goes a look at the rest of your UFC 323 card. Shout out to Jalen Turner, Edson Barbosa. That was fairly obvious, in my opinion, that was going to happen. Chris Duncan versus Terrence McKinney was fucking awesome. You see, you almost have to match all these guys up. There's so many lightweights that won on this card. So many lightweights that are like just on the cusp of the rankings are like ranked in that 10 through 15 range, or ranked in like that 15 through 20 range in the UFC. I know Firas Saim just got ranked number 15. I know Manuel Torres just got ranked. He's number 13 now in the UFC lightweight division. Maybe set up a fight between them two. Chris Duncan versus Jalen Turner would be an awesome fight as well. That sounds very fun to me. Jalen Turner, also someone who has been ranked before, also someone who looks like he should be in the top 15, top 10 in this lightweight division. So let's see what they do with all those guys. Awesome card, like I was saying. What do we want to do for the ranking of this card? I'm going to give it an 8.4. Like I said, it would have been in contention for card of the year had the co-main event gone differently. It would have got way higher, and it probably would have been my favorite card of the year. Certainly, Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili 2 might be my fight of the year. I'll be making a video on that shortly, so you will see then. But yeah, 8.4 rating for UFC 323. One more card this year, one more event on ESPN, Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape 2. I am going to be doing a breakdown of that fight, so look out for that video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and all that good shit. Appreciate it. We'll see you in the next one.